The prophecy fulfilled, the undying spirit that defied fate. They say some people live and die, and the earth forgets them. But there are others whose spirits refuse to rest, whose voices echo through generations, guiding, warning, inspiring. In Zimbabwe, there is one such spirit. Her name is spoken in songs, carved into monuments, and whispered in prayers. She was not a queen with armies, nor a warrior with weapons. She was a woman, a spirit medium. Yet she shook an empire and lit a fire that still burns today. This is the story of Mbuya Nyahanda, the grandmother of a nation, the woman who defied death itself. Charwe Nyakasakana was born in the Mazo Valley in the mid-1800s. She grew up like many children of her time, but destiny had marked her. For within her body, the great ancestral spirit Nyahanda chose to live again. She became a vessel, a mouthpiece of the ancestors. People came from far and wide to seek her counsel, on sickness, on rain, on disputes, and when she spoke, her voice carried the weight of the unseen. She was no longer just Charwe, she was Mbuya Nyahanda, grandmother to her people. But even as her influence grew, danger crept closer. Foreign men from the south, carrying guns and strange papers, began to carve up the land. These were Rhodes's men, the British South Africa Company, claiming farms, seizing cattle, and fencing sacred spaces. Taxes were forced upon huts, labor was demanded from men, and slowly, the land itself was being stolen. The Shona people turned to their spirit mediums for guidance. And it was Nyahanda, through Charwe, who gave the command, resist. Her words sparked a wildfire. Alongside Sekuru Kaguvi, she became the guiding spirit of the first Kimurenga in 1896. Warriors armed with spears and bows rose against rifles and cannons, driven by faith more powerful than bullets. They struck at settler farms, ambushed supply lines, and fought with the conviction that the ancestors walked beside them. In the forests, they whispered Nyahanda's words, believing the struggle was sacred, that even in death, they were planting seeds for the future. But the settlers were ruthless. With reinforcements and firepower, they burned villages, destroyed crops, and hunted down leaders. Slowly, the resistance faltered. Mbuya Nyahanda was captured, her chains a shocking sight to those who believed she could never fall. In the colonial court, she stood accused of ordering the killing of a native commissioner. The settlers expected her to beg, to deny, to plead. But Nyahanda stood unbroken. Calm, resolute, she accepted her fate, for she was not speaking as a woman, but as a vessel of the ancestors. The court sentenced her to death. In 1898, she was led to the gallows. The rope was placed around her neck, but her spirit towered above her captors. With unshaken defiance, she declared, "Mapfupa angu akamuka, my bones will rise again." And with those words, she turned her execution into prophecy. Her body fell, but her spirit did not. Decades passed. The land remained under colonial rule. But in the 1960s and 70s, when the second Kimurenga erupted, her words returned like thunder. Guerrilla fighters believed they were the rising of her bones. They invoked her name in ceremonies, sang songs in her honor, and carried her prophecy as they fought in the forests. When independence finally came in 1980, many declared that Nyahanda's words had come true, that her bones had indeed risen. Today, her name is etched in Zimbabwe's memory. Streets bear her name, songs praise her courage, and her statue rises high in Harare, a bronze reminder that freedom is never given, it is fought for. She is remembered not as a victim, but as a spirit, a grandmother whose voice cannot be silenced. And so her story ends where it began, not in death, but in life. For as long as Zimbabwe remembers her, as long as the people fight to protect their land and dignity, Mbuya Nyahanda still walks among them. The rope may have silenced her breath, but her prophecy lives on. Her bones have risen, and they will never fall again.